Hi, Linda Sessions here, your instructor for business communication this semester. And it's Saturday morning. This is me. Don't have any plans until later on today, but I wanted to get this video done for you. I know when I went to school, every time I saw my instructors, they always looked so put together. I had one instructor that had different colored glasses for every outfit she had, and I always thought that was so cool. And I never could understand how they were always all put together. Now I'm an instructor, and I really don't understand how they can always all look so put together. But anyway, this is me on a Saturday morning, sitting in my office at home. It is Labor Day weekend. I hope you do find some time this weekend to enjoy yourself a little bit. I know here on my screensaver is a beach. I was able to take a trip to Guam this summer with my husband. He graduated from high school there 50 years ago, and he hadn't been back. It was fun seeing him with his classmates. I am now an honorary George Washington High School graduate, home of the Fighting Geckos, if you believe it or not. And it was the first time I'd experienced water so clear you could see the shadows of the waves as you were wading out in the water. I mean, it was clear. It was beautiful. I can't wait to go back. I want to go back. There's things I want to do. We didn't have time because he was so busy catching up with friends, and it was so fun watching him and getting to know his friends as well. So I have this up on my monitor to help me relax. Hopefully you have something on your monitor or something on your desk that helps you relax as well when you're starting to feel a little overwhelmed and stressed out. And of course, you can see my background. I have all my ducks. They always help me smile. Hopefully this weekend, like I said, you're going to be able to get some rest and some relaxation, and hopefully you're going to be able to get chapter 2 finished before Saturday night at 11:59 p.m. And then on Sunday, maybe Monday, if you have some time, go ahead and start and work on week 3. So let's go into our class here. Pretty soon, this is going to have the week 3 video posted here. If you want to see all of the announcements in the class, you can just click on this link right here, and it's going to take you to the announcements. Now, over here is your to-do list, and as you finish assignments, you can close these. I don't know why they're not in order. I'm going to have to check on that. Canvas is new to me too. So, but all of these are due. You can see they're due September 7th. This is applying at chapter 4 and chapter 5. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to go check in real quick on Module 2. And Module 2, remember, was about interpersonal communications, working together as a team, and also learning a little bit about communicating across differences. So if you learn something new about yourself, send me a note in the classroom mail. Let me know. I know when I read through especially the chapter 3, it really opened up my eyes to how I viewed the world and maybe how I needed to change a little bit. I'm in the camp that you're always learning. I think you're always learning until you're dead. And then I think in our afterlife we keep learning too. So I think there is something after we die. But here on earth, I think we're always learning. And I learned some new things, not only about myself, but how to communicate with people when I was looking through that chapter 3, when I read through it. So if you learned something new about yourself, if you want to share, send me an email. Love to hear about it. So here, now we have Module 3. Now these assignments are all due August 31st. which is Saturday, today, and Module 3 is due next Saturday. So let's take a look at Module 3. What are we looking at here? We are going to now be looking at developing your business writing skills. Again, in this class, we want you to focus on the mechanics, looking at why we are doing something as opposed to actually doing a project. And it's a little different than probably some of your other classes, but in talking with our department chair, we decided that right now for this business communication class, this is how we wanted to approach it. We wanted you to have the opportunity to have the time to look at the e-text, to read the e-text, and do the quizzes, and not have to focus so much on doing research and writing the paper and the mechanics of writing the paper. So take the time to read through the e-text. So we're starting out this week with why does writing and designing matter to me? It's worth 3 points. I think there's 3 or 4 sections in it. I think it's 3 sections. So make sure you look at all 3 of them as just a little information, and then it's going to talk about why is it important that we write correctly. And I can tell you from experience, if I have a student send me an email and that email does not have any capitalization, if it doesn't have any punctuation, if they've used slang terms, if they haven't used the proper tense of a word, my thought process is that this student really doesn't care about what they're writing to me about. If I get an email from a student that looks professional, they've used punctuation, they've used capital letters, proper tense, might have 1 or 2 misspelled words because we are human, but for the most part, everything, it looks really good. Then in my mind, I'm thinking this student cares about the class. They care about what I am going to see and how I am going to respond to this question. So it does make a difference when you are typing and writing an email. And it's not only in the business world, but in your personal life. And I've noticed even in my text to my family, I have a family text group. I jokingly say I have 3 boys that are mine by birth. I have 2 stepkids that are mine by choice, and I love them dearly. I have 5 additional chosen kids, because that's who they married, and then I have 11 beautiful grandbabies. But we have a family texting, and all 10 of the adult kids and my husband are on it. And sometimes when I send a text out, I don't think all the way through it, and so I don't really explain myself. And so it's always my oldest son. He comes back and say, "What the heck are you referring to? I have no idea who these people are, what's going on." And then I read the text and realize that, I didn't even give any background information. I just went right to what happened. So even among your family, it's important to have good writing skills. So you've got this, why does writing and designing matter to me assignment. Make sure you get that done. And then we go right into Chapter 4, writing and designing. You might want to look at these flashcards first, because these flashcards are going to give you the key concepts for Chapter 4. We're going to go in and look at that here in just a minute. And then you have your learn it, apply it, and practice. And it helps if you do these in this order. I've noticed a lot of you are, it's almost like you're skipping around when you're doing the quizzes. Don't do that. Do the Learn It for Chapter 4. This quiz is going to cover the text, what you've read, the mechanics, if you will, of what was in the textbook. The Apply It will take what you learned in the reading, what you've covered in the Learn It quiz, and now you're going to apply it to a situation. So it's going to give you a situation, and then you're going to get some choices. How would you respond in this situation? And then the practice quiz is going to take all the information that you've done in Learn It and you apply it, and then that's in the practice quiz. So if you do it in this order, it's going to make more sense, and it's not going to take you as long. I notice that some people, they've done the Learn It quizzes on both, then they go back and do Apply It, and now they have the practice quizzes. And so it's almost like you're asking your mind to look at both chapters at the same time when you don't have to. If you just do it in order, take the time to do it in order. Remember, when you take a 3 credit hour class, in theory, the rule is for every credit hour you take, you should plan on 3 hours of additional studying during the week. So for a 3 credit hour class, you should be in class for 3 hours. So this is an online class, so you should already have 3 hours blocked out sometime during the week to work on this class. But then you should also have an additional 9 hours somewhere in the week for the class. And that's a lot of time. And especially if you have a family and if you're working and if you have other classes. I get that. It's really hard. It's not easy being a student. This class shouldn't take you 9, 12 hours a week to do. It is going to take you some time to do, though. But again, if you look at those flashcards, then let's go into the Chapter 4 text here. Writing and designing. If you go into the e-text and look through, just take a look at the table of contents. Here's an overview. There's audience analysis you're going to be looking at, planning, drafting, designing, revising and proofreading, chapter closing, then here's a chapter review. Then there's some assignments that you could do. You don't have to. They're not required for this class. But then there's also a chapter summary. Now, a lot of students will come down to the chapter summary first, and they will look at this. And then, describe steps in the business writing process. Well, it varies for everyone. Not really sure about that? Make a note. I need to go back and look at this section in the text. And so answer 5 questions. What 5 questions do you do when you're analyzing your business audience? And so if you're not sure, there's a little bit here, but you need to go back to this section in the e-text. So you can come right back up here to these 3 lines, takes you back to the table of contents, and right here is audience analysis. And so I'm going to come here and I am going to take a look and I am going to peruse, look at the figures. Make sure you take the time to look at the figures and tables. Talks about primary audience, secondary audience. Okay. So make sure you spend, for this class, I would say 20, 30 minutes at a minimum in the textbook, looking at it. You can always have it talk to you and read to you. You can actually take this pencil and do different things with it. Okay, you can add different activities to it, if you want to, I don't know, well, this might be in mine. I bet that's in mine. But you can bookmark where you're at. You can make your text larger or smaller. But spend some time in the e-text looking at it before you go in to the quizzes. Okay. In Chapter 5, you're going to be looking at improving your writing style. So when you click on that link there, it's going to talk about different writing styles, how to choose the best words. I actually use a program called Grammarly. I use the free version, and it will actually underline different words and say, hey, you might try using this. I tend to use just a lot, and you really don't need that word in sentences. So I always go back and reread and make changes, make sure I've used the proper tense, and make sure that whoever I'm sending the email to, are they going to be able to understand what I'm writing about? Write clearly, concisely. This is where in the first week you did the grammar exercise. This is where all this comes in. You need to understand how to properly set up a sentence to help you write. Now, English is one of those languages that is crazy hard. I don't know any other language. I tried taking Spanish and it didn't take. I have friends who are fluent, some of them in 5 different languages. I don't know how they do it. It's crazy to me. But in order to communicate, especially in the business world, you have to be able to write effectively. You have to be able to write effective emails. You have to know your audience. The appropriate tone. Write confident. You need to be courteous. My husband has pointed out to me several times, you do realize when some of your emails are you're really curt. You're not politically correct. You're in their face. You're almost brutal. It's not me. That's not usually who I am. But when I get into writing, it's like, I'm not going to see them. This is how I really feel. So never write when you're angry. But know your audience. Going back to Chapter 4, I know Sherry Utash, which is the president of our college. She has lots of things on her plate. She's on a presidential committee right now. She's on several committees around the state of Kansas and Wichita. And then she has the school. And she does stuff for Wichita State. So she has a lot going on. When you send her an email, if you can put the information in a bullet list, that's how she likes it. She likes it concise. She doesn't like all the little flowery stuff. She wants a bullet list of information. If she wants to know more, if she's interested in more detail, then she will send you an email back and say, okay, I looked at this, it all looks great, but in bullet 3, can you go into more detail? And she'll ask for more detail. So know who you're sending your emails to. Again, using positive language. There's a chapter summary down here. You can do the same thing. Lots of information in here, which is one of the reasons why when we set this course up, we decided we didn't want you to spend a lot of time creating projects and writing different projects. Take the time to read the chapters. Again, with chapter 5, look at those flashcards first. Get to know what are the main words in the chapters. And then look at the chapter. Again, 20, 30 minutes. Take the time. It's going to help you when you do the learn it, then apply it, and then the practice. Do chapter 4 first, and then go to chapter 5. And don't wait until next Saturday to start working on it. Okay. Start working on it a little bit on Sunday. I know a lot of you, some of you I know already are going out of town, but hey, did you know that you can get a Canvas app for your phone? So check into that. And you can, Cengage has an app that you can log into Cengage where you can actually, at least if you're in the car or on a plane, you can be reading your e-text. Wherever you can, wherever you take the time. I know I was on a plane flight back from a conference, and the young lady sitting next to me pulled up her laptop and her cell phone, and she was studying. She was in medical school, but she spent about 45 minutes studying specific things. And it was kind of interesting because she'd read something and then she'd close her eyes and then she would kind of be talking to herself, and then she'd open them and look at her notes, then she'd close her eyes again, and then, because she was trying to remember the processes. So take the time wherever you can to study. Even if it's on a beach. I like to do work in my backyard. I haven't been home enough this summer to create my oasis in my backyard yet. Hopefully, we'll get it done soon. But in the meantime, I've got my beach on my screen. I've got my ducks in my background. I've got my dogs and my cats and my husband. So I do get to relax at times. Find time to relax this weekend, but also make the time to get your work done. And if you have any questions, reach out. I'll see you next week. Bye.